If you remember the Galaxy Note phones, they were always square, and then they changed their name to the S line. It was the Ultra line, and eventually the phone went from square to what we have today, which is a little bit more rounded around the corners of the phone than what we've had in previous generations. And it looks like things are going to change again for you guys. This is either going to make you even more happy or more pissed off based off these changes. The latest from Ice Universe, better known as Phone Art now, the four corners of the Galaxy S26 Ultra's body have become rounder. And when I look at this is pretty darn round. It's really, really round. And to me, it doesn't upset me. I do think the squared off edges do make it look more executive, more stately, more business-like, which, like it or not, that's just the feeling that I get. I feel like the rounded corners are definitely more playful, and I think maybe that's what they're trying to go for with this. Maybe not. I guess it depends why they're doing it. I don't know if they're trying, it's easier and costs less manufacturing wise because the phone becomes more like all the other phones that are sold by them and everyone else. That's my guess, is it probably has more to do with saving money. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it's just they think it looks better and people like it better. That could be the other reason. But I think it's because it makes the phone a little bit more the same as every other phone. It makes it cheaper to manufacture based off of that fact. You also have to remember that there's been rumors coming around, not so much this year, but there are rumors that the S Pen will be removed in future iterations of the S Ultra line. Not this year, but reportedly as early as the 27 Ultra that it would be removed. And obviously what happens with that? It makes the phone thinner, makes the phone lighter, it makes the phone the same as everything else. It makes it cheaper to manufacture. It makes it not have so many things that you have to put into the phone. It just makes it so that they can put out a phone quicker and easier and cheaper. That's really what it's all about. But at the same time, what's the percentage of people that are actually using the S Pen? That's what I always think about. I know I don't use it. I know I would say like out of my creator friends, half use it, half don't on the S Pen. And then I feel like if I meet or see anybody else that has this phone, they don't really use it. I know there's a lot of people that do, but I feel like there's a lot of people that don't. So that's not really what the story's about in terms of the S Pen. That's just future stuff. As of today, it's just that the phone's gonna have much rounder corners. We have some very cool stories, stuff that I am very interested in. One of them being Samsung's new headset that will be out later this year. This is their Apple Vision Pro competitor, and it's going to bring with it a hefty price tag, as you would expect, but maybe not as hefty as expected, especially compared to an Apple Vision Pro. And the latest information from Samsung is that their headset, again, that will compete with the Apple Vision Pro, per a South Korean newspaper, is reporting that the price of that will be somewhere between $1,800 and $3,000. For comparison, Apple Vision Pro is 5 million won. So it's cheaper regardless, wherever you started off, but it's still going to be expensive regardless. $1,800 to $3,000 is a lot of money, but it's very competitive at $1,800. It's not almost like, hey, go buy it right now, but it's very, very interesting. They are reported to open up the unveiling of this on September 29th. So that's literally 1 month away that we should hear more about this. I'm more excited about the glasses, like the competitor to the Meta Ray-Bans, but I still am excited about this because I love my Apple Vision Pro, but there's some apps that are missing personally, such as, and I've said this before, YouTube is a huge one. Now you can use it on the browser, but it doesn't work that well because when you want to click little things, you can't, because it's just the browser's not really fully made for some of the things to click on. Same thing as like the Reddit app. It's like a mobile app. There's things that are missing about it. So I'm hoping that the apps that I personally want to use are fixed and are better in that Samsung headset. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on this one. I'm curious, are you guys excited about this one at all or not? Especially if it comes in at $1,800. Is that like a go out and buy it now or wait and see what people say about it? Or is it, no, way too expensive, I don't want it, or I just don't need it? Now, the other story has to do, and I did a separate video about this, I think it was last week. These are the Meta HUD glasses. These are going to have a little display down here. They might be announced in September. They have an event coming up September 17th where they might announce these, but these are going to be priced somewhere between $800 to $1,000. That's not terrible, especially when you think about the technology behind this. They're going to have like a wristband that you'll be able to interact with the glasses, and you won't have to necessarily touch the glasses at all. You'll have a wristband that comes with them, and a bracelet, whatever you want to call it, that is included inside of the box. Now, the latest information here, and this is great, is that Meta is reaching out to third-party developers, particularly those in generative AI, to create experimental apps for its upcoming HUD smart glasses paired with an SEMG wristband. Again, priced somewhere between $800 to $1,000. The HUD is said to have a field of view approximately 20 degrees, though it's unclear if that's measured horizontally or diagonally. The HUD's waveguide is believed to be sourced from Loomis, an Israeli optics company. And the SEMG wristband is used for gesture control, which I've mentioned that's how you'll use it, which is kind of cool, but it's another thing you're probably going to have to either have charged. And if you don't have to have, I assume you have to have a charge, right? It can't be just non-chargeable. It's got to be charged. So it's going to run on batteries. You have to worry about the glasses being charged and the wristband, but still kind of interesting. They're going at this in a different direction than how Google's glasses are. Also, the SEMG system is improving over time with better performance as more data is collected. The Meta Connect 2025 event is scheduled for September 17th, and then they expect potential pre-orders to open up on October or actually September pre-orders, and then pre-orders would be shipping in October. So kind of cool. All that stuff's happening. I love my Ray-Ban Metas. I wear them every day. I have multiple pairs of them. And this technology of wearing glasses, because I already wear glasses, to have that technology be built into these is freaking awesome. Get some new information about Meta's next pair of AI glasses. They're HUD glasses that have a display in the bottom right quadrant of the right lens that is going to give you information such as notifications, a little photo preview if someone sends you a photo, directions, stuff like that. Really simple, easy to see stuff. You're not going to be watching videos on this. It's going to basically show text and a little bit of photo action on there. Now, there's a new story out about these and you can see them on the screen, what they're going to look like potentially, that they're not going to make as many of these, and they don't think they're going to sell as many of these versus how they did with the traditional sunglasses like I have on right now. These are just Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and they don't think they're going to sell a bunch of these because of the fact that the price, once off, is going to be $800 to $1,000, and these you can get them refurbished for like $200-ish. You can get them brand new for $300 to $400. If you want the Oakleys, those are $400 to $500, and that's a few hundred to multi-$100 off. That's a big thing. People are concerned with price, and if they don't see a lot of value in it, they're probably not going to buy it. But there's also not only the cost, you've got the weight and the thickness of these glasses compared to the Ray-Ban Metas. And that's another thing. Is it going to cause fatigue when you wear them? Are they going to be so thick that people aren't going to like them? They're going to be like, it's too dorky looking, it's too techy looking, and not in a good way, because tech nowadays looks great. But is it going to look like old school tech where the things are just way too big? Then you got to remember the wristband, the bracelet. Is that going to cause issues with connectivity? Is another thing to charge? Is it going to be something they don't want to wear? And that's why they're expecting somewhere between 150 and 200,000 units over the 2-year product life of that device. That's not a lot. Not a lot to make a dent in really anything. Now, it could create a stir where it's like, it looks great, it works great, I should say. And then people like, when the sexier, slimmer, smaller version comes out, that people actually want to use it. And remember that product overview of the display in the bottom right, is intended to show, like I said, information like weather, notifications, navigation, captions, translations, meta AI generated responses. And it's not going to deliver a full AR immersion. So like, you're not going to look at something necessarily and it's going to be like, that's Burger King, that's the address, that's the phone number, that's the reviews for it. It's not going to be like that kind of information. We're still a ways out from that even. And then compared to Ray-Ban Meta glasses, which are 50 grams, Hypernova, that's the code name for these, are due to weigh approximately 70 grams, making it noticeably heavier and bulkier with that. And then remember, the controls are going to be through a SEMG neural wristband that translates subtle finger and hand gestures into commands, and it may also include voice and on-frame touch interaction. So you're going to potentially touch that or move your hands in a certain way, and it will move these glasses or move what you see on the glasses and interact with it instead of having to tap on it like you do currently or press a button on the current version of these. I did mention the price was going to be $800 to $1,000, and that's still a lot higher than the other Ray-Ban Meta glasses. The glasses are expected to be unveiled, which is right around the corner, September 17th. Pre-orders expected to open shortly after, and shipping in October. And when you add all that stuff up, you say to yourself, heavier, bigger, thicker, more expensive, more features, cooler in a way because you can do more with it. And it's coming out right around the corner. You can see I have a little display on there. I'm still for it. I mean, unless these things are just the most hideous things in the world ever, I'll stay away. But otherwise, I am looking forward to this technology. I think it is the future of technology. And as this stuff gets smaller and thinner and cooler, more people will buy it, especially if the price is right. What do you think the iPhone Fold will do better than the other foldables out there right now? And I think it's a really great question to think about, because there's a lot to think about. When you think about iPhones, you think about the unity of different devices that they have on their systems, from the computers to their tablets and their phones all talking to each other. That might be one thing that is really maybe better than other devices, but Samsung has a really nice ecosystem now as well, with all between their tablets, their phones, their watches, and their computers as well. Like, a lot of that stuff is really, really good. I think the main thing that the iPhone will do better than probably anybody else, especially right off the bat, is going to be app compatibility. Now, I don't personally run into it a lot where I'm using an app on my Galaxy Z Fold phone and I'm like, oh man, this just does not look right. It's running terrible. And I just can't use it. What does end up happening though is that there's these little stupid little things that happen sometimes. I'm in an app and I can't see the full part of it, or it's usually that it's just not properly ratioed out. And obviously I can ratio it out to different ratios within the settings, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. You'd rather not touch any of that stuff. And if I do have an issue within an app, I'll close the phone and I will use the outside display. And at that point, I would say all the time, it fixes my issue. So I don't really end up having an issue where I can't use an app or a website or anything else. All I do is just close the phone and I'm good at that point. Now, what I think iPhone's gonna be great at with that is, I think that from day one, I think basically every app will probably be pretty much optimized for the iPhone Fold, because they have such a, I would say, easier ecosystem to design for versus what Android has. You know, Android, you think about all the different devices that they have. There's tons of folding phones now. There's tons of flip phones. There's tons of regular slab phones, and they are made by a bunch of different manufacturers. So sometimes it's hard for these manufacturers to create their apps so that they're compatible with any and all devices. Whereas Apple devices,
There's not that many of them compared to Android. There's a lot of iPhones, don't get me wrong, but not compared to what you get with Android and all the different models that they have. So I think that's going to be a huge, huge get for Apple, is that, you know, app compatibility from the inside or the outside display will probably almost 99% of, maybe not that high, but probably higher percentage work versus what you get with a Android foldable. But again, the Android foldables I don't feel like are that bad in terms of app compatibility, where it's just a deal breaker that I wouldn't want to use the phone. There's always a way to get it to work, or just to use it and deal with it. And it's usually not too big of a deal. Beyond that though, like, I think the iPhone Fold will just be one heck of a solid phone. I can't imagine they're going to put bad cameras on this. I can't imagine it's going to be super thick or super heavy. I don't think it's going to have a slow processor. I think it's just going to be a really good bet to go against every other foldable phone in the Western market. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the thinnest. I don't think it's going to be the lightest. I don't think it's going to have a lot of those things that it's going to win versus the competitors. But I do think it's just going to, like, the software is going to work great. It's going to be powerful. It's going to have great app support and software support. It's going to be easy to use for the most part. Like, I assume they'll probably add multitasking in there because they have it on their tablets. I think it'll be what wouldn't surprise me really at all is if they're like, hey, it has iPad OS on the inside and it has iOS on the outside, and you're like, whoa, I'm getting two devices, or I'm getting more of an iPad-centric operating system on the inside of this, and then on the outside I have this phone. So I can just see this really making some different waves in the foldable market versus anyone else. You think about anything that they release, it'll have bits of what other companies have, but then it'll always have that little Apple flair to it that's just a little bit different than what other people do, and it's generally pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it. It's due to come out next year, really. Might it come 2027? I don't know, but it should be coming out very, very soon. Finally know how the Samsung Galaxy tri-folding phone is going to open and close. And it is kind of like a folding phone that we have now, the Galaxy Z Fold 7, how this one opens and closes, because it's interesting. And I want to show you guys the video. I probably could, but I'm just not going to, but I'm going to show you how it actually closes, because it said it closes like a G, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I don't even friggin' fully know. And now we fully know exactly what that means. So what it means is this. So when you get the tri-folding phone, which is probably only going to come out in China and Korea this year, but when you get it, it's 3 displays. So this is to be the 3rd display. And what it does is it closes like this. It closes one on top, and then it closes the 3rd. So they close on top of each other. And I think about that and I'm like, is that going to be a bad thing or a good thing? It's obviously got to be a good thing. It's different than one going like this and one going like that, and then you have your phone stacked up like that. This stacks up with like a do like that. And I think about that, and it is different than the way that Huawei does it. And is it to say it's better? I mean, I guess that remains to be seen, because I don't know if there might be a tri-folding phone that closes like that. I don't think there is one currently at the time of making this video. And the tri-folding phone for this is supposed to be crazy expensive, like $3,000 or something ridiculous. And with that being like that, is that going to be too much of a thing that people aren't going to buy it? I don't know. But going back to the actual closing of the device, it makes sense, because if you think about their current folding phones, those already do close like that. So the memory retention, memory muscle, I should say, of closing something like that just makes total sense. And it's always going to be on the same side. So when you close it, you don't need to go bam, bam, and have it be something new and have it be closed on both sides. You literally just have to go and close it on that one side, and it'll just stack up from there, and you can use it. And great for multitasking. Like, this is going to be a multitasker's dream, having 3 displays that are side by side by side, to be able to run 3 really good full-size phone style apps on there, or watch a video, or a video chat, or multiple things. And it's already great on this phone to be able to multitask. And it's already got a nice big display on there. And this is going to bring it up another level, almost 10 inches of display. But cool. I like they're doing something different with the folding mechanism. I do think what's going to end up happening with this folding phone is I do think that what we're going to end up seeing is that it's not going to come out to this rest of the world here, including America, Canada, Europe, and other places. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be released only in China and Korea, like we've been hearing, kind of the way that the special edition Fold last year was. And then I think what's going to happen is Samsung will release it to the rest of the world in 2026, and it'll probably be, and it should be, it's not probably, it will be a better phone. Obviously it'll be probably better cameras, maybe a slightly bigger battery, probably thinner than it already probably will be. It's going to be a better phone. They'll do, I think, what they did with the special edition and the Fold 7. They're really similar phones in terms of display sizes. They both have 200 megapixel cameras. So I think they'll carry some of that design language from this year's version of the TriFold over to next year's, so that when the rest of the world gets it, it will still be expensive and probably kind of rare for people to actually buy it and be in limited quantities. But ultimately, I think it will be released in the rest of the world, just not this year. I don't think they probably think that the rest of the world will ever, especially the the Americas and the Europes will probably buy it. I think people will buy it, but not like the amount of people that makes sense for it would be profitable and worth it. Might we see the Samsung Galaxy TriFold later this week? There is an event, a Galaxy event, on September 4th, 2025, and might we see this unveiled at the event? Now, there will be other devices reportedly released and talked about at this event, maybe a tablet, maybe a phone, maybe a watch, who knows, a headset. Let's talk about the stuff that's really crazy though. So are we going to see a headset? We've been hearing about this said headset. That would be Project Muhan, which is the successor or the competition to the Apple Vision Pros. Will we see that? I am hard pressed to say yes on this one. The reason being, we just haven't really heard anything lately about it. We heard it's going to come out in the fall of 2025, and we're here basically in summer still. It's not fall yet. Fall doesn't happen until the end of September. I actually do not think we are going to get this unveiled at the event. There's not enough information coming out about it. That's why I don't think we're going to end up seeing this on there. So I would say Project Muhan, nope, not happening. I think it will happen this year. I still think it will follow through. I just don't think it will be announced until later this month or October sometime, maybe even early October. The bigger of these things, which is the crazier of the things, is the Galaxy TriFold, which I know potentially is only going to come out in South Korea and China. But is that going to come out and be announced at this event? I really, really hope so, because I think that this is obviously going to push the future of these phones to the next level, because right now we only have the folding phones for the Galaxy Z Fold and the Z Flip, and we've had those for up to 7 generations so far. And this tri-folding phone doesn't sound like it's going to come out in America and the rest of the world. It could, but I don't think it's going to. But as you saw with the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition, that one was announced in China, or in Korea, I should say, and released there, and then eventually basically come out this year with the Z Fold 7. So I do think that we will see a tri-folding phone here in 2026 at the earliest. But what about the actual one that's coming out in Korea and China? Is that going to be announced at this event? Again, I am hard pressed to say yes. We heard later this year, which means to me fall. It's not going to be winter. Winter's a little bit too late. So I think it's going to be, again, fall at a separate event where they announce the tri-folding phone. I don't think they want to announce too many products and it gets lost in the shuffle, or it overshadows products that they want to sell on. So I don't even think we're going to see a tease about it. Some people think we're going to see a tease of the tri-folding phone. Some people think we're going to see a tease of potentially Project Muhan, the headset. I don't think we're going to see any of that. I think they're just going to keep it, with what we expect to see. Maybe a phone, maybe a tablet, something along those lines. I don't think it's going to be anything that's beyond those means of or anything crazy. So that's what I'm thinking so far, though, is I would love to see the tri-folding phone. I just still think we're a month or two away from that, meaning end of September, October. I don't think they'll wait till November on the headset or the tri-folding phone. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And what are you most excited about in seeing that tri-folding phone? And what piques your interest about it? Let us know. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road. Peace.